Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. And today what we're going to talk about is the full moon in Libra happening on March 20th, 2019 at 9:43 p.m. Eastern time, which is going to be 6:43 p.m. Pacific time. So that's what we're going to talk about. This full moon in Libra, I think, is going to be a pretty powerful ending, really, in relationships and with people. Now that our life is changing, now that we as individuals are changing, our relationships, who we're in a relationship with, how we're in a relationship with people also needs to adjust. And of course that can feel a little bit difficult, especially at this time when this identity and this new person that we're becoming is so different than who we used to be, and also kind of a little bit uncomfortable for us to step into. So if that's what you're want to learn more about, then please stay tuned in this video. If you want to learn more about not just only this full moon in Libra, but also about the month of April, please check out my April 2019 webinar where I will go from the new moon in Aries to the next new moon in Taurus and talk about that. This next month is an interesting one. I think this next month is when finally our new journey begins that we've been trying to get on, a huge turning point in our lives this next month to let us know where our life is going, in what way, in what direction, where we're going to have to own up and stand up for ourselves. And it's going to be a huge month to finally start to initiate some things very, very close to our hearts. Relationships still next month, though, could definitely need more readjusting, more time to sink into what exactly is going on in our life. So I think this full moon in Libra happening today is the first, I know it's the first of two full moons in Libra coming up, which are going to take place over the next month, where there's a lot to constantly be worked out between ourselves and other people, how we work with other people, that there's a lot more to the story coming here soon, and this is just part one. And if you want to learn how to navigate not only this part but part two and what's going on in April, if you got some big relationship situations here, then please check out my webinar, link down below in my description box, where I can talk more about that, the major alignments of this next month, as well as the big days that are happening, the slow days, the easy days, the bad days as well. Also, I just want to let you know I am still doing readings. I've got 30-minute readings and 1-hour options available. If you want to talk to me and have me look at your chart, if you've got any questions, need any advice, or if you just want me to speak about your personality from your chart, please book some time with me. I do love talking to you all and meeting you all. My next available slots are in April, so hurry up and get those slots now before they go. Also, in about the next month, I do plan on raising my prices as well, just because y'all been keeping me pretty busy and I want to fit some other things in my schedule too. So if you want to get a slot with me before I raise my prices at where they are now, please sign up again at the link down below to save your spot. April, the middle of April is when I'm now booking for. Also, just because I get a lot of these questions from you all, I do Western astrology, I use the tropical zodiac, and I like the Placidus house system. That's what you're going to get with me, and we'll go from there. Yeah. My next and last thing that I just want to mention before we get down to business is, of course, this cool Goddess Provisions monthly subscription box that I get sent to me every month, that you can get sent to you too. It's super cool. In it every month comes like a lot of neat spiritual toys. I call them toys since I love just playing, trying new things, and it's a good way if you want something every month to just pick you up, especially related to some things you might like. This month was super cool. A lot of times it always comes with crystals, so there are some crystals that came in the box, and this is neat. It's like a dream seed organite. It's actually supposed to help you if you put it near, if you can see it kind of looks like a crystal, if you put it near your electronics. So I will be having it on my desk near me. It's supposed to neutralize some of the bad and harmful waves that come off of these and make them better. Not to mention it's just beautiful. So this is one thing that came in this month's box that I love, since I am on some kind of electronic device like 24/7, especially doing all the things that I need to do here. Other cool things they had too. Ooh, they had some sun catchers. You put these little stickers on your window. They're clear, they're see-through, and when the sun shines through these stickers, it does a whole bunch of rainbows and all these cool geometry, sacred geometry patterns on your floor. So that was another thing that I loved. And then they always come with teas, chocolates, and this is a really cool tea blend here meant to help increase your creativity and your mental power, which I, as a Gemini, do need and like. So if you're interested in getting a box for this or learning more about what these boxes are, how they work, what they have in them, again, my link down below in the description box is where you can find all of the goods. Now let's take a look at your horoscope, at what is going on at this full moon in Libra. I always do first thing like to place it on the chart so you can see it. I like to start with the moon since this is a full moon. We've got the moon here at 0 degrees Libra and in opposition here with the sun at 0 degrees Aries. That's what makes it a full moon, because it's the moon opposite the sun. What do full moons indicate? Endings a lot of times. If not endings, and completion, stepping into something that we've been working on for a very, very long time. Why is this full moon interesting in that regard? Because this full moon is happening right on the spring equinox. So happy spring equinox to everyone out there watching. How do I know that this is the equinox? Is because the sun is at 0 degrees Aries. That is the start of the Western and tropical zodiac. Maybe that's another thing I should mention. For those of you who are wondering, Western astrology is not based on the constellation. It's not based on the actual position of the stars in the sky. Western astrology is based on the equinoxes and the solstices. So that's why the equinoxes and the solstices are very, very important, because they start new cycles in major ways. And the spring equinox is important because that's when the sun moves into Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So in my opinion, when the sun moves into Aries, it marks the start of the astrological new year, the real new year, when we start to get that fresh energy, initiate things, do things that are important to us as individuals that we need to move forward. And what we have here is the sun at the equinox, the very first degree of Aries, here a new beginning on the same exact day, at the same exact moment, we've got an ending occurring. So there's this, I don't know if confusing is the word I want to use, but this conflicting message here that's coming at this full moon. New, excitement, passion, adventure. I'm doing something different, and not just something a little bit different this year, but something extremely different, something I've never done in my entire life before, with this very rare Saturn-Pluto South Node conjunction in Capricorn. I'm embarking on some major new different journey to become some entirely new person. It's a very big beginning, but then why does this beginning feel like an ending? Why do I feel like before I can begin a lot of stuff that I gotta end a lot of other things and let go of a lot of this other stuff coming in? And why is it taking so long? I just want to go. I just want to move forward. I just want to make things happen. But there's a lot of old stuff I gotta tie up and get rid of that's starting to come here, that we may be feeling at this time. That anxiousness of wanting to move forward, and that frustration of not being able to move forward in the ways that we might want. What is it then that's causing the frustration? Well, it's with the Libra, since that's where the full moon is happening. Well, and Chiron. I mean, the sun is conjunct Chiron, so that's a thing, but I'll get to that in a second. A lot of times what some of this frustration could be is with Libra. What does Libra rule? It rules relationships. And also, if you want to think of Libra as ruling the fall equinox, the harvest. It rules reviewing the harvest that we've laid so far to seeing what we need and what we don't need. So I think what's happening here is that before we can start on this big new beginning, this turning point in our life that I think is coming next month, we have to readjust our relationships so that they can understand what we need and be on board with us. And we have to assess all our work so far from the past that we started assessing at this new moon in Pisces 2 weeks ago, and we have to figure out what from the past do I like? What from the past do I need? People or otherwise? What can I take with me? What should I take with me? What do I need and what don't I need for me to move on? And I think that's where we come at this full moon here, trying to look over the harvest. And I'm talking about a harvest, yeah, from the past long time of our life, especially because the Saturn-Pluto thing only happens once every 35 or 36 years. We are looking way back at these big cycles, these big subconscious habits, patterns, things we've been doing, maybe even things that aren't so subconscious anymore. Now that Mercury is starting to station here, and we're looking back and saying, okay, now that I am aware, becoming more aware, wide awake than ever before about things in my past that I've done or haven't done, about subconscious patterns. What do I need? What don't I need? What should I get rid of? And what should I keep? And how can I move on? And we're beginning that process of separating the good from the bad and figuring that out. Again, I believe I said this with relationships too. We're trying to separate and parse that out. What relationships do I need? What ones do I want? And what way are things going? Now, because this full moon is happening at the first degree, it's not even the first degree, it's at 0 degrees. I don't believe that right now we're going to have a full understanding of our relationships and a full understanding of what we need to do or to get rid of or to cut or to hone in on even further. Because a lot of times planets at the very first degrees of a sign are what I call the baby degrees of a sign. They're excited, they're exuberant, they're lively. I think they're a bit more optimistic, but they're not that experienced and they're not that good at making decisions. So I think what's happening right now is that we know, especially because this is the first of 2 full moons in Libra that are going to happen in the next month, which isn't a thing. That's not a thing. There's not usually 2 full moons in the same sign a year. But because this is the first of 2 full moons in Libra, which is very rare, and especially with this full moon being at 0 degrees and the next full moon in Libra being at 29 degrees, I think this is the beginning of that process where we're starting to realize, what do I need to take with me on this new journey I'm about to go on? And what do I need to let go of? And what do I need to get rid of? And people as well. And this full moon is what I see as more of the exploratory committee. I don't know if that's the right word, or the research and development committee. There's some big project we're doing in our life, we're working on, we're embarking on, we want to do, but before we can fully embark on that project, we need to send another team ahead of time to research what we need to get rid of and what we're doing and what's really working. And I think that's what's happening here. We know there are some big decisions we need to make to finally kick the past and to finally move forward and to make sure the people are there with us, but we may not be ready at this full moon in Libra, because it is 1 of 2 and at the baby degrees of a sign, to make the final decisions that we need and to make the final ties with old things, okay? And so I think we're trying to just figure all of that out right now. And we're trying to see if what we can work with and what we can't work with. I think that's also a big part of it too. Because sometimes too, and I was looking at some of the inside degrees and Sabian symbols for Libra, and a lot of the inside degrees that I got for 0 degrees Libra was camouflage, becoming camouflage in your environment, adapting to an environment, figuring things out, trying to be well liked, trying to fit in. And so I think there is a part of us right now, we're not ready to make decisions about things. We want to try to make things work. We want to play nice at this time, and we're trying to figure out, because we're trying to figure out what's going to work, and that's why we're playing nice, okay? And the next new moon and the next full moon in Libra, I think we're going to be done playing nice. We're going to be done trying to make things work, and we're going to have a better idea of what's going on, all right? That's the point I want to make there. While we're trying to explore our options, what has potential in our life, either in a relationship or otherwise, and what doesn't have potential, I think there's part of us with the Sun conjunct Chiron that is feeling very vulnerable. Also could be feeling a little sensitive, also could be feeling, with Chiron involved, a little bit insecure. That's because with Chiron and the Sun being conjunct Chiron, and Chiron hasn't been in Aries for a really long time, We know we have to make decisions about things ultimately that will propel us into a new life, but we've never been in this new life before, and we've never had this identity or expressed our identity in this way. So how do we know what is going to work in the future, and how do we make decisions with certainty and with clarity about relationships if we've never been in this spot that it is that we've been in before? All we really have is past experience, okay? And past experience is helpful. Past experience is necessary. You need to listen to the things from the past that have happened to guide you forward in the right direction, especially with this Mercury retrograde stuff going on here, for sure. But I think we could be a little bit uncertain about that, okay? I know I gotta leave some things behind that aren't working, hone in on things that are working. I know I gotta work things out with this relationship that doesn't really feel right, but I don't wanna make a decision I'm gonna regret later. I don't wanna be too hard with relationships. I don't wanna be too hard in this thing when I don't even have my own self together, when I don't even know my own thing, when I don't even know what I want, you know? So there's that kind of tension that's like, how do I say anything with certainty to anyone else about anything else in my life when I'm still trying to get myself in order and what's happening? And I think because that we're pulling our punches. We're playing nice with this moon in Libra as we figure things out, even if we know that something is not right and needs to be adjusted, okay? Speaking of adjusting, I also want to talk about Venus at this full moon as well, because Venus is making a major aspect outside of the full moon, and because Venus is the ruler of this full moon. Venus is the ruler of this full moon because this full moon is in Libra, and Libra is a Venus ruled sign, so that then gives Venus more importance at this time. What we have here is Venus in a square with Mars. And it's in a sextile here with Jupiter. And so what we could be doing here is trying the best that we can to retool and to renegotiate our relationships so that they can fit into this new life that we're creating, and so that they can come with us doing the things that it is that we need to set ourselves up for a brand new big adventure and journey with us, okay? Some of these relationships and situations, and even money now that I'm talking about involved with Venus, could not make the cut, especially at the next full moon in Libra happening next month. They could not make it. Some of them could, don't get me wrong, and some of them will, but some of them could not. And I think this month we're still trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. We're still trying to figure out, are you with me? Are you not with me? Is this a yes? Is this no? And as a result, we're trying to play nice, and not only play nice, but nicely negotiate, nicely retool, nicely adjust, okay? Yeah. I think that's what is going on here to work some things out. Could be a little bit frustrating with the Sun Chiron. It could feel uncomfortable, especially with the Mars Venus. It could be helpful as we rework things, push and pull, give and take. There's going to be a lot of that going on with relationships, but there could also be some frustrations. The reason why I say that is because Mars is the warrior planet. It's the planet of war. Sometimes it's the planet of aggression as well. And we've got it by square here to Venus. So sometimes when I see Mars by square, it can amp up the volume a lot, push the speed and the passion. So there could also be some frustrations with relationships, even if we're not ready to make decisions about relationships, have the final word about relationships and money. I think there's a part of us that's saying, hey, I'm doing something new and different. I don't know what I'm doing exactly quite yet. I have an inkling, but I'm not sure. It's uncomfortable, but I know there's something with relationships that's not going to work, that hasn't been working, that needs to be fixed, that I'm trying to retool, and we're gradually trying to get there, okay? I think the situation here is that we're trying to come into new chapters with Venus making the sextile to Jupiter that is way more exciting for us, way more advantageous to us, and can help us. The relationships that are going to stay with you at this time are the ones that are going to be okay with doing things in new and different ways. The ones that are going to leave are going to be the ones that are not okay with doing things with you in new and different ways, or don't want to do new and different things with you in the same way that you want to do those new and different things, okay? So I think that's going to be a lot of it coming in here. There could also be at this time, as a result of some frustration you feel with old situations with relationships and money, new people also that come in to help bridge the gap as well. And I think that's what we're trying to figure out. What don't I have? What do I need? How do I get what I need? And how do I finally get rid of all the stuff that's not working? That's happening here with that tug of war. With Venus and Aquarius, I think we're trying to get a more clear and accurate picture of the future so that we can then create in reality the things that we need. So it's not just in the realm of ideas and of the mind. Like, because Libra is an air sign, Aquarius is an air sign. It's not just like, oh, well, can this relationship maybe possibly work, or this thing maybe possibly. I think there's also a part of us too that's figuring out, no, what will work in reality? What will really ground us? There may be a relationship or something in my life that I like the idea of, but that cannot really actually work, and therefore I need to let it go or get rid of it or choose. So I think there's a lot of that stuff that's going on too. How can I work with relationships and with the things in my life to get the best possible results and to make this real and to get real results and to see this happen in the real world? Yeah, that's our focus. Okay. I think it's positive, especially if you keep trying to focus on results in a lot of ways. For things to start to gel together eventually in very positive ways, with Mars here in a trine with Saturn, Pluto in the South Node. I know this alignment is so interesting too, because I feel like with a lot of stuff going on in the chart, we're starting to get a better idea than we've ever gotten before of what we need to do differently in our life in order to feel more stable and secure, and we're starting to hold more true and more tight to it. So there is a lot of good stuff happening, bringing more stability and more security back to our lives. I feel like it's just I don't even know if low-hanging fruit is the right word, speaking of the harvest in Libra, but I think it's like a lot of this like other stuff, maybe a lot of like the surface. Do I want to say surface stuff? I think maybe now, especially as we're moving forward, getting to the end of this Mercury retrograde cycle, I think now a lot of it is the surface stuff we're trying to readjust. The big stuff we more or less know. This is where my life is. This is a huge change that's coming. It's just trying to figure out all the other stuff. What's going on here? Is this working? That's coming, that we're trying to bring all together. Okay? Yeah. Okay. I know. Just trying to figure out if I want to talk about one more thing before I go into Mercury. Because one thing I didn't mention is this moon. This full moon is in a quincunx to Uranus and Taurus. So there is part of us, I think we're starting to get a better idea of our own worth, our own value, of what we need. And we're no longer wanting to take no for an answer and to sacrifice and to settle, even though we know we need to at this time and are still trying to sacrifice and settle. I think there's like this part of us that I'm seeing like conflicting, of like, I know what I want, I know my worth, this is who I am, this is the direction I'm going in, I'm holding true to it, I'm making it happen, versus, but what about other people? I don't want to upset someone else, I need other people to help me on this journey, do I want to keep this thing from the past? So I do think that there's a lot of that right now we're trying to work out, that we need to clear up before we are able to take the big strides forward in the way that it is that we want and need. Okay, maybe now I'll talk about Mercury, and I think that's the last big alignment that I'll mention. Okay, the last thing I'll talk about is Mercury at this full moon. It's still retrograde, but it's going to station direct very soon in a conjunction with Neptune and in a square to Jupiter. Okay, what this has been about, this Mercury retrograde that we are now at the very end of, I think has been a lot about our subconscious habits and patterns. We've been trying to uncover things deeply in our subconscious and from the past in order to show them the light of day and understand them. And I think also emotionally, we've been trying to work with our emotions so that we can start to move into some new chapter of our life feeling more comfortable than we ever have before. And that could have been very confusing a few days ago, a few weeks ago, for us to figure out here, what are we feeling, what was the past all about, and how can we move on? And I think now with Mercury stationing direct, even though it's in a spot it still doesn't like to be in, doesn't like Pisces, Neptune, or Jupiter, I think now we're starting to understand our emotional needs. We're starting to understand what we need to do in order to wash our hands with the past, in order to heal the past, and in order to move on with more peace of mind. Okay, and I think that's where this full moon in Libra comes into play after this long Mercury retrograde, saying, okay, now that you've had a chance to dig things up from the past, to deal with old issues time and time again, you got to weigh things out now. You got to weigh things out about the past. You got to take all the stuff that you've realized, and you got to weigh it on the scale. What's it worth? What's its value? What's more important? Can you work with this? Can you not? Now that you've realized stuff, now that things have come out of the woodwork that we're trying to figure out, and this Mercury, Neptune, Jupiter stationing is saying now that you see things for what they really are and have more of an understanding of what they are and have hopefully worked some emotional stuff out so that you have less emotional issues, baggages, and hang-ups, even if there still are some, now it's time to rearrange everything in your life to get it in order so that you can move on in the way that it is that you need and set yourself up the best for success in this new place that you're moving to, or going in this new direction that you're going in a way that you can feel okay with. All right. So I think that's what I'll leave it with there. I mean, Mercury as well also, even though it doesn't like Neptune or Jupiter or Pisces, it actually is in a pretty good spot here with also being in the sextile to Saturn and Pluto. So I think these conversations about our feelings, these conversations about our past that we've been having the past few weeks, now that we're understanding things, is at least bringing more clarity to us, more direction, more stability, and more certainty to us about what is next. I think it's just about cutting the last few ties with things that are not working, cutting off the low-hanging fruit, trying to adjust your relationships and money a bit to try to accommodate the best that it is that you can, some new life you're stepping into. And because we're trying to adjust these things here, really trying to get a more clear sense of who's with us, and what's not. And we're making the first round of cuts or the first research into what we need so that at the next full moon in Libra a month from now, we can be way more decisive, way more certain, and way more swift, move much more quicker on our feet to get the things we need. All right, I'll stop it there and then shuffle the cards. Yeah. Life-changing times. This is rare in the astrology, what's happening now. And April, I think, is the biggest month of the year with a lot of things going on in the astrology. Other than maybe December when the Saturn-Pluto conjunction comes exact again. And I think this is the moment where we're trying to set ourselves up the best for success to go on some new journey. And in order for us to go on some new journey here, we really need to finally figure out what from the past is coming with us, what from the past is moving forward, and how we can rearrange things in the best way in order for us to move on. Yeah. And to figure all that out, and I think now we've got the best chance at making some of those decisions or getting very close to making some of the final decisions on what we need than ever before. Okay. Now your card. All right. Let's see. Maybe I'll take you. The card for the full moon in Libra. It's the two. It's the Two of Wands upright. This is one that's all about the the future, really. I see the 2. I think it's a lot about, I mean, 2 sometimes in tarot, a lot about choices, making choices about where you want your life to go. But I also think as well, the 2 of Wands in particular is definitely, and this card's so pretty. It's got like a big starry sky of like looking out and looking at the stars and trying to figure out, where do you fit in? What is right for you? What do you ultimately need to accomplish in your life? And I think getting real honest with yourself about what that is and about what you need, and making choices here about what's good for you and what's not. I think I did say a lot that I wanted to say here. Oh, that's so funny. This card comes up again. I got this card earlier when I was preparing for the full moon in Libra, the 5 of Pentacles. I think there's some of us that could feel still a little bit out in the cold in our life in a lot of ways. I knew this one was going to come up again. I'm going to go with this one just because I keep getting it. I think there are some of us that could be feeling like we're out in the cold, especially because Libra is the start of fall, when things start to get cold. And I think what we're trying to figure out here is how we can bring things back to life again, how we can come out of a hard time, how can we get out of a dark time. And I think we need to cut our losses in a lot of ways and double down on the things that are working. And that's what we're figuring out here. But the solutions that we need to some of our problems, especially with the Aquarius stuff and the Mercury retrograde, may come from unusual places. This to me is always my card of help in unusual places. Help from unusual suspects. There may be certain people and things that you thought were never going to fail, were always going to be there for you, and then maybe they haven't been there for you in the way that you needed. This card to me does suggest connecting with people who understand your struggles, who are different than ever before, and who are on your, I want to say who are on your level. You know, man, I don't know, this is like, might be taking me in a little bit of a tangent, but this card for me in a lot of ways is like sometimes when I think of this card, I feel like sometimes the people that seem like they're going to help you, that are well established, aren't there for you when you need them. But if you can connect with other people who are like you, who have similar experiences, they may not be in any grand position or any big position of success, but those people are going to be the ones that are ultimately going to help you the most. And to not discount small help from little places, and small help from humble means by humble people. Like, I think there's a lot of that can go around, especially with the Sun conjunct Chiron happening at this full moon. I think we're all feeling a little off in some way about our identity, about who we are, uncertain about who this place we're stepping into. And I think needing to approach this time in this full moon with humility and with sensitivity and with vulnerability, and really needing to seek out the people who have that same sense of humility, vulnerability, or who've had the same struggles that you have had in some way, or are very sympathetic to your struggles, to help you move on. Because those people, even if they're found in places that you didn't think, or aren't the people that you thought were going to be there for you, I think are ultimately going to be the best for you. And this full moon in Libra is helping to clear out all the hard things that have not been working for us, so that the right people with the right understanding of who you are and the right situations can find their way to you, or so that you can make better decisions with less distractions to do those things that you need in the future. So that is your horoscope for the full moon in Libra. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this horoscope, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.